Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. Good evening. I have a special little song for you this morning because it's a special day today on Think and Grow Rich and setting your goal for Q4 2025 with the 12 laws of achievement. And so let me play that for you.
What kind of love can transcend time in a breath and feel as fresh as the sun's morning dew? A love that lives forever in between the spaces of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, all at once and forever. Safe among the folds of warm inspiration and obsessive lightness, swim through eons of time, one with wings, the other with vision, of a place in space where life is honored and entwined together. Connect forever when achieving Irada, soft space for Lee and Van, star-crossed lovers, a love built on love of life over time and forever. Souls connect forever when achieving Irada, the soft space for Lee and Van, star-crossed lovers, a love built on love of life over time and forever.
Well, I hope you got to hear me sing along with that. It's been, hello everyone, it has been a year since that particular trailer was created out of the 7.5-minute book trailer for The Possibility of Errata, my first fiction, 11th book, and on science fiction and fantasy. And it was created actually on December 17th, which is next Wednesday. So a lot has happened over this last year, and it was all created through this work and through imagination and visualization with a wonderful partner in doing book trailers and intros and outros, Aaron Gibson, the soul man. If you don't know him, you want to know him. So welcome, everyone. I'm Leslie Flowers, and this is week 12 of 12, studying Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, Carnegie's Principles of Success. And we will review all the other weeks. So it's great that you're here because today is the one thing that we've been studying this whole time. To be able to succeed the way we want, we must be able to understand clearly our fears and how to manage, outweigh, and outwit them, so that they don't dominate our ideas and our creativity, reminding us of the fearful things in our life. I'm Leslie Flowers, and this is a real joy for me to do each week. We're crossing the 100 show mark with the end of this year. And for those who have been with me, we've repeated this program newly each quarter for the last 8, maybe 10 quarters. I didn't go back any further. So I am so glad that you're here, and I want to welcome you today to this particular program. Please invite your friends. I think there'll be people coming in. First, let me say hello to Lauren. Hi, Lauren. It is so good to see you. I'm very glad that you're here. This is number 12, and it's actually the one thing that we would not read in the beginning and ever go any further. So now we are prepared to step inside our fears and understand what they are and how they manage us, but not in anxiety, but rather in objectivity and responsibility. Between faith and fear, only one presides in any given moment. And it has been proven throughout the ages that the only thing that we control as human beings is what we think. How often we think it and how we're feeling when we think it. So I'm very glad you're here. Lauren and I were in a book together, The Legacy, which just came out on Thanksgiving. And I'm so glad to see you here, superhero. You're a new person. I just met you. I'm so glad you're here. But I do know that you are Aaron. So I'm very happy to see you, Aaron. We met on I think it was on Jason's live stream this past week. So glad to see you. Always happy to have you here. Good morning, Linda. Linda Meyer is a newly certified coach, and her specialty is narcissism. Check into her newsletter, because if you were ever curious about narcissism, frankly, I wish I had known about it years ago, because I would have recognized the recycling patterns. So check in with Linda. If there's a narcissist in your life, it could be extreme, it could be minor. In any case, she'll help you figure out how to communicate with them, because they're very unique individuals. And some of them are in our family too. Right, Linda? And I'm so happy to see you here, Lisa. Lisa and I are Sagittarian sisters. We're the dreamers. We're the smartest women in the zodiac, and also the most beautiful. Aren't we, Linda? Lisa is a registered dietitian, and has a show on Tuesday afternoons, 5 p.m. Eastern, every other week, called the Metamorphosis Dialogues. And she focuses on what foods our partners, or we, if we're going through any of the stages of menopause, can ingest that will help us ward off a lot of the side effects of menopause. And there are many, and it can last a long time. So thank you for being here, Lisa. And also Meryl, I'm so glad you're here. Yes, Meryl and I share a bond in making sure people are aware of live events. Meryl is the master. I'm certainly just a novice. He's in Paramus, New Jersey, and you really want to get to know him. And particularly some of the groups he's in, because that's where these events are posted. Since so far I haven't found a place to find all the events LinkedIn has. The ones that I've said yes to, I can collect those, but there are many others. So between Meryl and myself and a number of other people, and your reposting events helps people become aware of what is available. All right. So right now we've got people over on YouTube and we have people here. So let us go ahead and begin. If you're team live, you can put in hashtag team live. And if you come back later for replay, you do hashtag team replay. For those of you who are in the audience this morning, please share this with your friends and also ask any questions you have. That way we can address them, and people who are listening in later will not only get what we're talking about, but also what you've added to the conversation. So you've got to be very inquisitive for this one. This is Walking on the Wild Side. Good morning, Lay. How are you? Lay is out on the West Coast, and she's a digital artist and a drone certified operator. And she has a wonderful Integrate Art program, which teaches teachers and students to understand the subject matter, no matter what it is, using art to help along, right? So we have an extra visual component to whatever it is we're learning. So thank you for being here. And our dear Sharon Rose, the Gita girl, is here. She's all about gratitude. Good morning. And what a beautiful post you wrote this morning. And I'm so with you. So the people that come into this room and comment here are people that are always looking for the good in other people. They know that the amount of good and greatness you find in others grows your own, and that you have to have it yourself in order to see it in other people. So inner greatness, confidence, and wisdom grows like a muscle in direct proportion to its use. So if you go around looking for the greatness in others, as I do with you each week, then your own greatness will grow and other people will see that. So are you ready? Let's go ahead and bring this in. Here we go. Well, let's see. I don't know whether we need this. We could hide the vertical for right now. Yeah, there we go. All right. So this is the epilogue of Think and Grow Rich. And you are welcome, Lay. It's so nice to have you here. So get inquisitive today. So one of the things about this book, I always ask this question: why did Napoleon Hill put the epilogue at the end, the outwitting the 6 ghosts of fear? Why wouldn't he put it in the front so you could read about fear right away? And let me say hello. Good morning, John. So happy you're here. Chicago. Yes, thank you, Meryl. See, Meryl, it taps people. And that's how people come in. Along with those of you that I've invited, when you say you'll attend, I know that that's your intention. But I also know it's to support me. So I do not expect everybody who says attend to be here. However, half of you are in most instances. So why do you think? Oh, look who's here. Charles Caldwell is here. Thank you, John, for being here. New friend is calling in from Hong Kong. So glad you're here. Charles has been a guest on my Monday 10 a.m. show, Mind Over Matter Mondays, and we love talking about transformational concepts and technology and their application. We're going to have a panel with this next year. I'm so happy to see you. Oh, okay. So Sharon Rose is also in the book, which is a letter to my family. It's a legacy anthology. And it's part of our legacy. What story do we want to leave to our family? And we have the wonderful, and so Sharon Rose getting ready to read my chapter, which is a little different than most chapters. And William Rochelle, good morning. So the question is, why would Napoleon, oh, I'm sorry, everybody, I just knocked over my microphone. Why would Napoleon Hill put the 6 ghosts of fear at the end rather than at the beginning? Who has an idea? I'm adjusting my microphone. after I've done that. So you can put your comments and questions in the chat. I will do my best to answer them, and I will go back and answer only the questions, and I'm going to tell you why. I've recently discovered, thank you, William, for being here. We had a great talk the last 2 Sundays about the evolution of women, and we talked a lot about fear. So I'm glad to see you're here. I think you'll really like this. So the question here is, in this #2 bestseller of all times, over the last 100 years, second only to the New Testament in personal development, the book that has built more businesses than Carter's has little liver pills. And it is the sequence and the exact process to be a millionaire if you want to be a millionaire. However, if you want to be a millionaire, the unique thing about this book is it's not because you're selfish and you want it for yourself. It's okay to take care of yourself. But our purpose in life, no matter which decade it is, always is about service. But it's a different vehicle. Like when I was raising my family, that was my purpose, right? And when I was in school, that was my purpose. And since my children are grown, right, I have different purpose. So as long as it's service, so yes, you can become a millionaire. So you also have to ask yourself the question, then if this is the direct path to riches, and over 100 million copies have been sold in the last 100 years, why aren't there 100 million millionaires? And therein lies the mystery. So for me, I've spent 17 years teaching this and my own programs over 65 business quarters. Using this as a basis, plus my own work, I've yielded 500 documented 12-week goals based on this and my own work, 20,000 hours. So it can be done, but it's done through deep study, developing this process, which is actually the transmutation of radiant energy. It's how an idea becomes a book. How an idea we have becomes a book. So the answer is here, but you have to be in a service mindset. Let's put it this way. You'll get one. All right. Anybody answer? Oh, look here. So the question was, the question was, why did he put him at the end? Exactly right. If you opened a book that in depth went into every one of your fears, and I'm going to skate the surface, but you pick up this epilogue and you have to do a self-assessment. Are you behaving this way, this way, this way, this way? Now, this man spent 20 years at the behest of Andrew Carnegie to find out what the small number of U.S. citizens who are wealthy, happy, and healthy were doing that everybody else failed to do. And that's been my work. So I'm so glad you're here. It would scare me. Frankly, I would not read it. Okay, let's do this. All right, let me see. Can I make myself littler here? I can. I think if I go here, maybe I'll get smaller. Let's see. I did. Okay, this is perfect. Thank you, Sharon Rose. Oh, here's another answer. Oh, John, to inspire a final call to action. In a way, that's extremely insightful. I was listening to the audio unabridged again this morning, this particular chapter. And what you're saying is basically what he said at the end. So we could really end right here now, John, because what you've actually said is that you can't outwit your fears unless you've gotten the other principles, unless you've practiced and used them. Then outwitting and outweighing fear, which is required to be successful, you can't do it well, if ever. And that's why there aren't. Maybe that's the question. Why there aren't 100 million millionaires. For me, it's people who are ready and willing. I've been teaching this for almost 20 years, this particular subject, along with other subjects that are related, universal laws, and created the 12 laws of achievement to help clients have a checklist So based on this and the results we've had, we know what to do each time. But what's so interesting here is, let me look at that again, to inspire the final call to action. If you don't understand these, you won't be able to win here. And it has to be consistent. So that's why this is so much fun. And I'll be back next year. I'm still going to go all the way through the end of the year, but we'll be doing, this is 12 of 12. This is the 12th week, but it's fine. So in order to really get today, it's helpful that all of these you understand. And I will explain them to you briefly. Thank you, John, for that. It's the call to action is, if you want to be wealthy, happy, and healthy, then you want to understand this linear process. It's based on biomimicry. And that's why you only do one goal at a time, is because when it's successful, you want to be able to duplicate the process, right? It's like copying and pasting in a way. And let's see here. I've heard more than Carter has little liver pills. That shows that we've aged. Yes, they do. It was an ad for Carter's little liver pills, and there were a lot of them, right? They never asked us to count them. Well, that gave that away. Meryl, thanks for joking with me. And here's our sweet Nicole 𝐂𝐚𝐰𝐬. She's the publisher, owner of Guiding Brilliant Writer Publishing, and both Lauren and Sharon Rose and myself and Nicole are part of the legacy, the letter to our family. And that is still available. It's doing very well in the US and in Canada. These are short stories about the things, the heartfelt things that we want our families to remember about us after we're gone. So let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad you're here, Nicole, and thank you, Bill. So let's do this, okay? So we're going to be done in 35 minutes. Now, if you go back and listen again, just scan through all the acknowledgments until we get to the meat. Oh, look who's here. The Queen of Wall of Wealth, Leah. I am honored that you are either in the gym or you've taken your gym morning off, that you are here. So 7 a.m. is what it is on the West Coast, and that's usually when she's in the gym. So I know her that well. And lots of wonderful friends here. There's Sean Michael, a wonderful coach, and he is going to be my final guest on Mind Over Matter Mondays, the last Monday of the year. Thank you for agreeing to do that. Okay, well, I hope you don't mean that you can't stay long on the final Monday, but I hope you mean today. Okay. Anik, hello. So glad you're here. Okay, so let's go over this really quickly. I'm going to review what we've done so far. So this was 12 weeks. Okay, let's see what PSA. There are approximately 60 million millionaires globally, 3,000 billionaires. Okay, so why aren't I and why aren't you? You have to be ready and willing. And I guess I have to know this better than I do. All right, good one, good one. Ooh, look, here we go. Why wait till next year? Sajid Kumar is in Toronto. He is an HR recruiter and a heck of a guy, a big supporter, and just so adore him. A 3-week head start. Well, so the really to the point of this quarter, I taught you the 12 laws of achievement. And at the beginning, we set goals. And so it'll be interesting to see who did it. Okay, I understand, Sean. Thank you. I figured it was for today. I'm glad you're here. Please go back and catch the last half when you have time. So I taught everybody the 12 laws of achievement. We hit it 5 times. So we repeated the 12 laws, doing a true and false, so you know them all now. Except maybe 1 or 2 that always hangs you up. This is the checklist. And I'll tell you right now what some of the things are. I don't have it in today's presentation because I love fear. Oh, you're too young, Sharon Rose. I know. You're too young. Don't worry, you're a Gen Xer. right? You wouldn't know about these little pills. Meryl is somewhere on the border between Gen X and boomers, and I'm not sure where, but if he saw that commercial, he's been around. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Mona. Fantastic. All right. Well, that's wonderful. And here's our dear Cherito Yamar calling in from the Philippines. Such a lovely woman. Check out her posts every day. They're very spiritual and simple. A lovely way to think when you begin your day. So thanks for being here. All right. 12 weeks. And the first 2 weeks were on the introduction. This is the representation of Carnegie's principles of success from a woman who has taught it for 17 years, read the book 90 times, studied the book, and has written now 13 books. Most of which, all of which were written inside the infrastructure of this work. And I brought 500 people through their goals and taught them the process. So now they hit their goals every time. I no longer do this consistently, but I teach everything on Mondays and Fridays. So unless I have a workshop or something like that, I teach it to you every week. The first 2 weeks are spent on purpose. That's the introduction. You must have a definite purpose. One goal, simply said, that you are compelled and driven to do this above all else and above any fear. Now, I've told the story many times about when I went to work with Bob Proctor in 2008 and got licensed and certified, and that's I've been teaching his work since then and evolving it into my own, because I had lots of training before then too. There's a bit of everything in my work, but a big piece of it is what I've learned here. So when I did that, I was so excited and I was guided there intuitively because of something else I was doing in service. And it was all great. I knew I was going to do this, no problem. It was 2007, and the ticket was $16,000. It was so astronomical that I did something that I now know after all these years is what we're trying to do. It was so impossible, but I wanted it so much that I shut off the fear of poverty. In other words, I never thought of the money again because it was impossible. So all of my energy went into what was possible, to start masterminds, to bring people together over the next 6 months before the training started. And then you all know that about 4 months into the 6 months waiting, I got a call from my ex who said I had a check of $20,000 coming from the company, which I was unaware of. All of my energy, all of my vibration were in visualizing being at this training in West Palm Beach in the spring of 2008. That's only one example. It was a $20,000 check. You could have knocked me over. But the idea here is with definite purpose. You're compelled, you're driven, you're somewhat obsessed, but your thoughts are stronger than the natural fears, which we're going to look at today. Oh my goodness, look who's here. 𝐲 is here. He started a whole new venture. Such a cute couple. Such fabulous things between Spain and Pakistan. You have to look him up. He's fabulousness. Let's see. What did you say here? Better notes on the nuances and consistent implementation. Yes, that's what we're, yes, absolutely. Okay, Sean says, change sticks when it's about identity you can live with, not resolutions you secretly resent. That's good. The secret resentment is your fears, and identity is exactly where your fears are. What you think about yourself, what you think about your ability and your deservability. Those are all come from fear if it's not positive. And this work will build faith in your ability and deservability to outwit and outweigh fear. And there are 6, and we're getting into them. Okay? So once you have that definite purpose, so read the introduction 2 or 3 times. Do not go on. And you don't have to read it all. I've consolidated here, but these are the key chapters and principles. And I will teach you the nuance, what rises to the top, so to speak. So once you have your definite purpose, then you have to build desire. You fall in love with it. You start to see the world through the prism of your desire. Okay. This begins over time, in spaced intervals, thinking about this over time. I use 12 weeks. 12 weeks is really about as much as people will stay motivated on one goal. I'm not the first person to think about it. There's a book, The 12-Week Year, right? There's lots of different ways to do this. What I can tell you is that maybe there'll be some things that I'll say that you hadn't heard quite this way, and you were ready in conscious awareness to receive them. Whereas you heard them before and you were confused, if they become clear to you now, that is an example of your growth. You're seeing your own growth in your conscious awareness of your infinite potential. Yes, Bob died February 3rd, 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I apologize for not remembering. Anyway, that's what you do. You picture, you visualize it as though you already have it, not that it's out there somewhere, but you imagine yourself already with the thing that you just must do. An orphanage. Maybe it's your family on a vacation. It doesn't matter, as long as it's in service and not violating the rights of others. Over a period of time is how faith is built. By doing this same thing, there are 3 levels to faith, 3 doors you walk through. So when you begin to develop faith, and remember, you're in love with this idea, you're going to ward off the fears because it's strong, and you don't know how to do it either, or you've tried before and you've failed. So it's got to be something way out of your reach. It's because it's deep in service. And that vibration must outweigh the negative one of our fears. And that's what we're getting into. So about halfway through the 12 weeks, you go from expectation when you first start, okay, I'm going to give it a whirl. It's likely to occur. And now about halfway through, now you have a certain belief because you see the signs. Signs are simple. People and opportunities show up that you used to think were coincidences. I'm here to tell you that they are not coincidences, to consider that you are cause in the matter of your life. What you want is moving toward you at the same velocity or amplitude of cellular vibration as you are moving toward it. So you'll notice negative people are surrounded by negative people, positive people are surrounded by positive people. That's the law of vibration, and the subset is the law of attraction. Oh, look at this. What is this? I see the spiders aren't scary. What is scary is their rent-free lifestyle. Oh, okay. Okay. A little comic relief there, buddy. Okay. All right. So then the second thing is when about halfway through the 12 weeks, you're going to start noticing these things. Oh, it's a coincidence. How did they know? Not a coincidence. Magical. It's really how the universe works. And then when you complete it is when you have perfect faith. When you complete something that you've never done before that was compelling or you failed at, you have now disproven the fact that you failed at it before. You've also proven to yourself, speaking of identity, self-esteem, what you believe about yourself, how you see yourself, all of that. Now you've you're not only capable of doing something you've never done before, but you're also deserving. And this is how you build faith to outweigh the fear. Oh boy. Hi, Stanley. Stanley Green is here. He's CEO and president of Power Thinking Corp. He is a sponsor of Mind Over Matter Mondays, my 10 a.m. Eastern Monday show. And Power Thinking Corporation is a wonderful personal development platform, which is now on an app. So Stanley he stuck his neck out and invested in an app for all of us. So then instead of jumping around from here to here, everything is on one app. So glad that you're here. And okay, now Lay, we see her as the draw. Okay, so if you get kicked out, would you drop the YouTube link in the comments? Would you mind in LinkedIn? If you can get back in, Lay, thank you very much. And here we have Catherine Chadwick. Hi, Catherine. Catherine will be on Mind Over Matter Mondays on Monday, this Monday. And we're going to be talking about the vagus nerve and vibration. So be sure you show up. All right. So now, once you've achieved it, you have perfect faith. How did you do it? Through autosuggestion, self-suggestion. Repetition is the first law of learning. So it has to be done over time in spaced, repetitive intervals where you think about what it is you want. You visualize it on the screen of your mind, eyes closed about right here, and you bring in your 5 senses. What does it feel like? What do I smell? What do I see? Because that will raise your cellular vibration. And if I didn't tell you that mind is a cellular activity, your mind controls your body and your brain. This is a relatively new area of study. Very few people with degrees in neuro or therapy or any of that have even seen this. And so they're still collapsing brain with mind, and they explain the mind through brain, but it's the mind that controls the brain. It's your fears that created the neural pathways, the deep ruts where you revert to a negative experience over and over and over again. When you complete the faith one time, you've now begun a new smooth highway in your brain, a new neural pathway based on very positive vibration. You see? So this is how this works. It's very different than what we all thought. Thank you. Lay has put the YouTube link in the chat. Now I better hurry up here. Okay. Thank you, Lay, for doing that. All right. Then we learned imagination. 2 kinds of imagination. You get a wild idea. That's creative imagination. All ideas are here. They're all out in the universe, and they're flowing from thought energy to us, through us, and then into physical form. That's the transmutation of radiant energy. It's a simple process of visualizing. It's how we bring that spiritual seed of an idea from thought energy into physical matter. It's alchemy. And then there's the other imagination, the synthetic imagination. So when you get that wild idea, all your background, all your experiences come in and start to fit in. Well, I could do this, and I've done this before. So you do want to remember those failures and the new solutions that you found, because that will help you build the pathway to this new thing. Now, you won't know every step, but you'll have a good head start. Then we hit decision. Decision is the opposite of procrastination, the biggest nail in our coffin, so to speak. But no problemo when you have a definite purpose. When you have one definite purpose, decision is a breeze. Somebody comes and brings you a new idea. You ask yourself the question, if I do this, will it take me directly to my goal or not? If it will, work it in. But if it will not, say no for now. Ask the person if you could come back to them and have this discussion. Don't take on anything that doesn't take you to that one goal. That's when decision becomes easy. Does it take me there? Yes, then we'll do it. No, then you set a boundary. Well, I can't do it right now, but I'm very interested. So it doesn't mean you'll never do it. It means that you're making a choice on a commitment of something that you're deeply rooted in. Okay, I like this. I have to look at this really quick. It's because it hasn't become a habit. Yes, habits are not faith. The only problem with habits, you get that about 6 weeks in, maybe 8, Sajid Kumar. But habits break all the time. If you go the full length beyond James Clear's work, that is an interim stop to developing pure faith. Nothing wrong with it. In fact, you will develop habits and then you'll break them. Pure faith in your ability and deservability is not breakable. But I love that. I love that. The habits, absolutely. Let me see what Leah says. Remember those failures. They are the lessons. They are. And there's Kimberly. Hi, Kimberly. Oh, so much to say about Kimberly. She's been a guest on my show. But anyway, I got to continue because we're running late. Thank you for being here, my friend. I'm so glad you're here. She's in Chicago and freezing. Okay, so decision is easy. Persistence, the sustained effort necessary to induce faith. Notice that Napoleon Hill was a man of faith. There's a lot of faith in this. There's not religion, but there's faith in the universe and God. So persistence is the sustained effort. So really, if you only had 3 things of all of these to achieve your goal, it would be your definite purpose, burning desire, and persistence. Because with those, you're going to go move through faith and develop faith. You're going to use imagination, and you'll be making those decisions. And a couple of weeks ago, we talked about intuition and the sixth sense. And to surprise you, that intuition is part of your conscious awareness. It is not part of the subconscious. It's part of your higher side. It's how the universe speaks to you, how it whispers objectively. The subconscious is not thinking, it's reacting, and primarily to fear. Then we did a goal setting special where we checked in for the 5th time on everybody's goals and how you were doing in terms of the 12 laws of achievement. Last week we did subconscious mind, and here we are at the 6 basic fears. Whew. Okay. All right. So now you see the picture. Not all 13 are here, but here we go. Indecision, doubt, and fear will shut down intuition. And is your intuition that is your guidance in a very positive way toward what it is you want. That is what you want to dominate, is your intuition over fear. So the two together, it starts with indecision. Oh, what I should do it or not. And then it's like, oh, I haven't been able to do it before. And then it drops into one of those different fears. And it eliminates your intuition. Only faith or fear, only one is going to dominate. Usually for almost all of us, it's fear. It's a process using the same repetitive process that gave us our fears, and the fact that we go back and relive them over and over and over again, right? To really deep seed those neural pathways, right? So we'll just be in those ruts all the time with low vibration. So where any of these 3 are together, they're a miserable threesome, okay? Or triplets, if you want to call them. They're terrible. So that's why we want to take care of all of them. Well, I just showed you indecision. Notice how it went to the chapter on decision. There should be no indecision if you have a definite purpose. Okay, let me keep going. All right, so now I want you to look at this. So here's what's going on. You've seen this in different ways, but you have a conscious and a subconscious mind. You see the antenna coming into the conscious mind. Those are your 5 senses. But what you need to know is, and what you may enjoy knowing is that we have 7 intellectual properties or mental muscles to stand guard against the one thought that we're thinking against fear, which will always pop up first. It's stronger. So the conscious mind is what we call the thinking mind. This is where information comes in through our 5 senses. This is where we're feeling different than emotion. This is where we're responsive, different than reactive. Feelings and responses have a very high vibration, cellular vibration, which is what the universe chooses, how the universe gives you what you want. You're actually causing it yourself by what you're thinking. Kind of fun to think about it, isn't it? I wish I had known it 50 years ago. So then these 7, including intuition and imagination, memory, the ability to reason, focus, which we've lost so much of, curiosity, and how we view things, perception. Through repetition, on purpose or not, we're doing this on purpose, that will embed into the subconscious mind where it lives like the truth. There's no thinking there. It's the emotional mind. It's reactive. And it's very strong. And this is where our beliefs are, our identity is, our self-esteem, our level of confidence, our 6 fears, our habits, and our faith. Right now, we only maybe have a little faith, and maybe that's in God. But we can build more faith here to outweigh those fears. When we get a new idea, what happens is the fears are stronger, and they're going to be the first to the plate. Oh, you can't do that, Leslie. You've never done that before. And since you've never done it before, you're going to go, oh, good point. And then you don't do it. All right. So you see the distinction. So the subconscious is your automatic, non-thinking, reactive, emotional mind. You don't like it. And about 95% of people's days are spent just reacting, triggered by all their fears. It's a nasty business. But I'll show you how to get through it. Okay. So your fears were embedded by default. When you had a terrible experience, that built fear. You'll notice the children aren't as afraid, like when they fall off a bike, they get right back on. But if I was on a bike and fell, I'd be fearful to get back on because my fears are longer seated, deeply seated. Yes. And here, Bruce Lipton is the scientist, and so is Richard Brody. Braden and 𝐷iSpenza, I do not believe, are scientists. They're in personal development. Correct me if I'm wrong. Bruce Lipton and Richard Brody are the scientists that have proven that mind directs the body through your cells, that the vibration of what you're thinking persistently translates into your cells. And that depends on how you're going to feel. Are you going to feel great or are you going to feel lousy? What are you thinking about? Look that up and let me know. But I don't think 𝐷iSpenza or Braden, either one of them, they were all trained by Proctor, if I'm not mistaken, just like me. Okay. All right. Look that up for me. I don't know for sure. All right. Here they are. Now look, there are 6 ghosts of fear. These 6 fears, through repetition, we all have to some extent, to some point in our life. And here's what they're thinking. Okay, so actually poverty is the first. I have been wrong about this for a long time. Poverty and criticism are pretty equal, but poverty is the biggest one. The fear of poverty. I just can't afford it. This is abundance versus a poverty mindset. Based on the law of polarity, both are equally available for us to choose to think on purpose or by default. So you want to check yourself. When you go to do something, is the first thing you say, I can't afford it? What about what it is you're investing in? Where's the value there? Which has more value? The thing you want to do, the definite purpose, or the fact that you have an old fear that there isn't enough money? And that's what your parents said. We can't afford it. Wait till this happens. Wait till that happens. Then the next one, you're thinking to yourself, can't I do anything right? How many times have we been criticized and judged ourselves over and over and over again? Public speakers deal with this all the time. Okay, it's probably the worst of all because the humiliation we felt when we got up in front of people stuck with us. And when we think about it again, there are adults who throw up and are sick when they're asked to speak because of some humiliating experience they had as a child. We've all had it. That never stopped me, but there are other things that stop me. Right? So it's different degrees. So you've got that, and then you've got ill health. Well, this is real. Napoleon Hill talks about when they came back from World War II, all the illness. He talks about the depression with the poverty. These are real things that people believed and had faith in. I mean, there was a depression, for goodness sakes. So we've had COVID. Although Napoleon Hill brings out a good point. Physicians, and particularly those who went to take care of Ebola in Africa, but physicians in general don't get sick like the rest of us do because they're in heart-centered service. They are not afraid of getting sick. Their purpose is stronger than any fear. That's why they don't get sick. You make yourself sick by what you think, or you make yourself well by what you think. The next one is loss of love. Oh, well, what if he leaves me? What if he dies? What if I break up with him? Maybe I shouldn't, right? Or I've been betrayed. Maybe I shouldn't go out. I've been betrayed before. These are real fears that we've experienced. They don't just go away. You cannot just ignore them. They're impressed into your neural pathways. They're your default thinking. We're creating new thinking that is building faith in your ability and deservability, outweighing your fear of the old reason you couldn't do it. Okay. Old age. I'm too old for that. Not true. But that's a very real fear for many people. They've been told you're too old for this job, right? They've been, as you get older and if you don't keep up with the young ones, a lot of people think that. We think that about ourselves. Maybe we've been rejected for several jobs. And then, of course, death. I have my moments, but I have no regrets. So I've been cleaning everything up, right? So that when I go, everything will be in order and I won't have any regrets. But now I want you to look at this, though. You got these 6, right? And what they say, I'm too old. What if I die? What if I get sick? I can't afford it. And oh my God, I can't do anything right. So check yourself. Now look at this. They're also your board of directors of your life. You have 6 people at your boardroom table, and you're the CEO, and they're telling you what to do. They're making decisions for you. You're not. You're not doing anything. You're afraid of this and that, etc. So what there is to do is one by one fire their behinds and replace them with faith. The exact opposite belief in your ability and deservability. Because in every case, the opposite exists. The opposite board member exists already in the world, but you have to want it. And then that person will show up. Okay. Yeah, that is interesting. Well, he studied biochemistry at Rutgers. Thank you for doing that. Chiropractor, that is interesting, isn't it? I wonder if he asked them what they were thinking. Anyway, that's very interesting. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. That pretty well completes this. Let me just go back because I want to check the comments. We do have a few minutes time. So let me go through the comments and see if you have questions and comments so we can look at it. What's coming up for you? Did you recognize yourself in any of these? When you really want something, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and buy it anyway and say, good thing I'm a millionaire. If you say that and then you repeat it over and over and over and over again, you do it over and over and over, you will have built a millionaire mindset through auto-suggestion and enjoying the look on the cashier's face every time you say, good thing I'm a millionaire. At first, it will be difficult to say, but before long, it will roll off your tongue and you're in that vibration, if being a millionaire is what you want. All right, let's see here. Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Catherine says, what you choose to think becomes your showrunner. Oh, I love that. That's the Ultimate Mind Diet, which is Catherine's registered program, feeding your mind what you're thinking, right? I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Your showrunner. God, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, God. Zarar. Unconscious mind. Well, it's actually subconscious. Okay. Subconscious mind is like a roommate who never pays rent but keeps redecorating your dreams. Good point. You're very funny, Zarar. All right, let's see. Sharon Rose, a posture of gratitude activates intuition. Gratitude is the attitude to raise your vibrational frequency. Yay. That's it. All right, let me see what else we have here. I want to make sure I get everybody because we're just about done here. Okay, now let's look at this. This is good. Thank you for sharing this. What of these things have you experienced? Thank you, Lay, for sharing this. So I used to get sick behind the camera as the focus. It took you over a year of practice for that to stop happening. So it was nerves then, or anxiety or fear that you wouldn't do it right, I'm assuming, and it would make you nauseous. You know, you remind me of one of my clients who was really good in her industry, and she wanted to do lives, and she was with me for that 12 weeks. I mean, she did several 12 weeks with me, but this one, I told her if she wanted to interview her health practitioners live, I would be her producer for 12 weeks. She came into the studio knowing nothing, holding a piece of paper, shaking. And by the time the 12th week was finished, she was a master and has been doing it for 2 years, over and over and over again. But this was the most nervous person, self-conscious about this very thing. So thank you for sharing that. Lay, what else are you guys seeing? Can any of these things with you? I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you, Meryl. Thank you for investing time to prepare the content for this event as well as graciously teaching it to us. You are welcome. So let me tell you what I'm doing over the next couple of weeks. Come do it with me, okay? So let me see if I can make this even better. Let's see, so you can see it a little bit better. Oh, come on. Okay, anyway, Monday, Catherine Chadwick will be with us at 10 a.m. and she's going to talk about the vagus nerve. And I want to ask you about this new thing, Catherine, that you put it around your neck and it stimulates. It's like a TENS unit, but on your vagus nerve, and it's supposed to give your brain an orgasm. I don't know, but I am going to ask you about that. Okay. And then next Friday, we're done with this piece. So I'm going to bring you my own task and calendar management approach done by value. And I'll also bring in Covey's 4 quadrants. Many times we can't organize our calendar as much as we would like to. And so I will show you what all my clients have used that I created, plus Covey's 4 quadrants. So you'll have some new ways to approach your calendar. And then the following Monday, we're going to have Coach Lee Hopkins. That's December 22nd for Mind Over Matter Mondays. And the week after that, I'm going to do here, if I'm awake, if I feel like it, the day after Christmas, self-confidence as a cybernetic system. Self-confidence being self-esteem, identity, they're all the same for me. Right now, I'm not saying that they are all the same. In my mind, they're all in the subconscious and controlled by fear and past fearful experience. And then on the last Monday, we have Sean Michael, who will be the guest teacher on Mind Over Matter Mondays. And so let me share with you that next year, something new is coming around this same subject. I had one 12-week this year that I loved the most, and I'm doing a fair amount of work on it. I want to bring you an entertainment experience using these laws. And there's much more that I can share with you, which I will do. And so I'm so glad that you all were here. I know it's an exciting time. And for many people, it's a tough time. Do one nice thing for someone. Hold a door open where maybe you were in a hurry. If you have a little extra money and you come to a stop sign or stop light, that's a long one and there are people standing there, carry some cash with you. You can make bags in Ziploc bags with consumables for that same thing. Easy to do with your family, a pack of nabs or crackers, a pair of socks, or a disposable toothbrush, a bottle of water, a pack of tissues. Hand that to the person that has nothing. That's what I'll send you away with as you go through these next few weeks and you prepare for the end of 2025. And I'm going to play Monday's intro. Thank you all so much for doing this 12 weeks with me. I'm very proud of you for making it all the way through. And boy, that's like 70 times for me. So I would be like to be like Benjamin Button and get younger every year. So with that, I am going to play the outro, which is the intro for next Monday at 10 a.m. Please join Catherine Chadwick and myself. I will invite you if you have responded to this show and to our The Mind Over Matter Monday show. And I'll look forward to see you there. Reach out to me if you need me in any way. Have a great